Rams fans, welcome in on this edition of Rams Showcase. The Rams did themselves a big favor in the NFC playoff race. Plus, division or wild card, what is the best way for the Rams to get into the dance? And later, it's Niners week. We preview Rams at Niners. Let's rock.
This is Rams Showcase with your host, Sheriff Joe Bags.
Yes, welcome into it, Rams Showcase. My name is Sheriff Joe Bags, at Sheriff Joe Bags, at Rams Showcase, ramshowcase.com. It's where you follow along on the internet. We got a big old football game going on this Thursday, not this weekend, as TNF, the host of the action on Amazon Prime, as the Rams head up the coast to Santa Clara, take on the 49ers. Second time we will face the 49ers this year, 1-0 against those dudes already. Let's make it 2. We'll get into that full game preview on the other side. Of course, fan cases on the back end as well. If you've got any Rams-related questions you would like me to answer, you can always shoot those over to me on the Rams Showcase socials, and I'll answer them on the next edition of the Rams Showcase podcast. We do have, we started getting kind of loaded up with fan cases, which I absolutely love. But just be aware, there is a chance that if I'm kind of too loaded on them, that I will have to drop some. So just heads up on that. That's not going to be the case this week, as we actually don't have a lot. The timing of the post and all that stuff. Thursday Night Football, getting in on this episode a little bit early, so we do not have that issue this time, but be aware of that. Also, if you're looking at helping out Rams Showcase or covering the Rams in some capacity, reach out to me, ramshowcase@gmail.com. Maybe we can figure something out. Before we get into playoff action, playoff races and all that stuff, did just want to kind of briefly touch on this last game that the Rams had against the Buffalo Bills, man. Week 14 action, absolute insanity. Of all the games that I was able to go to for it to be that one, for one of them to be that one, absolutely incredible. I was here last week. I kind of prefaced my whole game preview with look, I know that the Bills are really good, and I know that they'll probably win this football game, but that doesn't mean it's impossible that the Rams win. And kind of just the way it was kind of unfolding. It seems like the Rams were just really, they were coming to play, man. So, and I know that there's, some comments about the Rams defense and the fact that they gave up 42, but I mean, ultimately, I think that was it 1.5 yards total of touchdown runs from Josh Allen or something like that. So I don't know if I take the 42 too much to heart. And also, you just got to score more points than them, so I don't really care. We did enough to win, and that's pretty awesome. But obviously, a big time win for the Rams in front of a mostly national audience, with it being the Fox Game of the Week. Against the Buffalo Bills, and then obviously it being against the Buffalo Bills, a team that just, whooped up on the 49ers last week. They've beaten the Chiefs, they've beaten some really good teams. I mean, obviously you don't get to 10-2 on accident. The Buffalo Bills are a very good football team. It just, the Rams came into play. I also mentioned it last week as well that it was possible, that's kind of what I kind of went into it with, it's possible that the Rams offense is still struggling because we just got everybody healthy in the last few weeks, and they don't really have continuity yet. So I'm kind of hoping that based on what we saw against the Buffalo Bills with Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp just going absolutely nuts, Kyron having a good day as well, and the offensive line, I think, doing an incredible job all day long. I think that now we can look at this and say maybe the Rams are getting some continuity with their top unit back. And now, with 4 games left to go in the season, in December Rams football, which has proven to be pretty sick under Sean McVay, we're in a good spot right now. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. But defense, obviously, we know what happened with Josh Allen, man. 6 total touchdowns. He's like the leader of the MVP race, though. Wins, though. Better than anything else. Couldn't score more points than us. I know that much. That's the most important stat is the win at the end of the game. So I know that there are some fans who want to take certain things away because of certain statistics, saying oh, well, he still did this. He still did that on us. Or, we still gave up this to this person. It's like, that's yeah, but we won. That's... we can win every game 3-0. I don't care. I just want to win the game. But we still have some work to do. And we can't let that big win kind of sit in our heads and let it kind of take over these last 4 weeks. We got to go ahead and same thing with the losses. We got to take that game now that we had against the Buffalo Bills, take it, acknowledge it, understand it for what it is, look at that tape, improve where we can, and now put it behind us. It can't help us in San Fran. Well, it doesn't matter how many points you score the week before. You don't get to carry some over. So just because we put up 44 last week doesn't mean we start up 10-0 or anything against San Fran. So it's 0-0 and that game kicks off, obviously. And I know I'm saying stuff that's super obvious right now, but I know that there's some mindset there of coming in a little too confident. So I don't think that this is a team that would necessarily do that, not against the 49ers, not on a short week, not under Sean McVay with Matthew Stafford. I just don't necessarily see that, but the December Rams, especially with Stafford, since his return or since his arrival to Los Angeles, Rams are 10-1 in December with Matthew Stafford starting those games, averaging over 30 points a game, over 400 or almost 400 yards a game, and just absolutely on fire. So I don't think that that's going to be a problem. But just like I was saying after the Philadelphia game, it's like, okay, acknowledge it, and it's over now. Move on, because it can't help you now. It can't hurt you now either. So same kind of concept, but we just got to understand what happened, acknowledge that was an awesome game. It was so much fun. I'll hold on to that game forever. Like, straight up, that's being there for that one, man. I'm going to hold on to that game absolutely for the rest of my life. And it was just another one of those top tier days entirely, flying out to Los Angeles. I was hanging out with my homies, Aaron and Misty, for that one. It was absolutely awesome. Got to do so many cool things ahead of the game, not even just like the game itself was absolutely sick, but got to do all kinds of cool stuff, beach stuff, got to see some sick restaurants and all that. Absolutely a killer time. And then you bring it to the game, and I mean, I'm meeting Roland Williams. I show up and the DJ's like, yeah, he's saying, shout out Sheriff Joe Bags while getting a beer. Like, what? Hey, stuff like that, man. Seeing so many of my Rams homies. I can't even think of everybody right now. But I'm talking Kelly, Tish, Jen. I'm talking Chris from 916, man. I'm talking Matt. I'm like, man, I know I'm gonna forget some people for sure in there. Alvin, man, just. So it's so sick to go with, or to run into so many Rams fans that I know. I saw Big Taco just for a minute, man. He was in the section next to me, so I didn't get a chance to see him, but he saw me losing my mind. I look over and he's all, so that was really fun, man. But and then hanging out with my homie Aaron for the game, man. We flew out for that one. We're both here from Colorado, so that was obviously super sick, man. I've been watching football games with him for years, man. Years. We met at a preseason game, Rams Broncos, probably if I had to guess, 2013 maybe. We've been watching games together ever since, man. So absolutely incredible, top tier day. Can't thank the Rams enough, dude. I don't know how I forget about that. I won the Rams Pick'em game. That's how I got these tickets. So I got them for free from the Los Angeles Rams, not because I'm like Sheriff Joe Bags or anything like that, but just because the Pick'em game. And if you don't know that Pick'em game, it's absolutely awesome. The Rams run it themselves. You can find it through like their app and their website and stuff. And there was if you get first place in a week, you win game tickets. Second is like a signed jersey and stuff like that. Like, there's some really sick prizes in there. But I was able to pull off a win last year. It was absolutely awesome, and it's so simple, man. You just pick like if it'll say how many passing yards is Matthew Stafford going to have, and it's got like windows of 50, and you just pick where you think he's going to be at, and sweet prizes in the line, man. So again, man, top tier trip, top tier everything. I even even going out. I'm trying not to share like too many stories about this, but going out. There was probably 25 Bills fans on my flight to LA, and they're all just kind of like side-eyeing me and stuff like that. I met this one couple though; they were really cool. They said that was their first time going out there, and then, it was just awesome, man. And then coming back, there was a bunch of Bills fans on my flight. None of them talked to me this time, but met some really cool Rams fans on the way back, man. There was a guy that I met in line getting onto the plane from LAX over to Phoenix, man. I believe Michael, I want to say. Sorry if I butchered that, man, if you're checking this out, but that was absolutely awesome, man. His energy was so, like, electric, man. Like, he was so hyped up, man. I was so tired that I feel like I wasn't matching it, but I wanted to. Like, mentally I was there, but I was exhausted. But he was super, super cool, man. It was really fun, and then got to meet some really cool fans in Phoenix as well while I was waiting for my trip back. It was snowing in Colorado Springs, so I did get a little bit of a delay, but got back home, got rested, and getting back into the Ram Showcase action. So it's a tight turnaround coming back from LA and then having a Thursday night game, but absolutely love it. So we're getting into it, man. And like I said, we'll get into the game preview here shortly. But first and foremost, dude, so the Rams putting themselves in a pretty good spot heading into getting above 500 in December. Can never be too mad about that. But obviously, winning a game that not a lot of people thought that the Rams could win, and getting above 500 at this point in time is absolutely massive. So we got the playoff races, man. They are absolutely shaping up. And I know that I've been kind of hammering it pretty hard here that wild card is really not where our attention should be. It should be on the division. We're closer to the division, all that stuff. But then I'm taking a look at these standings here. Rams now officially one game out of a wild card slot, but also just one game out of a division title. And obviously, that is what you want. You would rather have a division title than a wild card slot. Obviously, then you get a home game. And then the home games that you're looking at right now, if the Rams were able to get in there, Minnesota's 11-2 in the wild card, Green Bay at 9-4, Washington at 8-5. Excuse me. So Minnesota, obviously, very strong football team. They may take the division depending on what happens with the Detroit Lions. They do host the Buffalo Bills this week. Say what you want about the Buffalo Bills in their game against the Rams. That is a damn good football team, and it's not impossible if they go into Detroit and win that game. And I think actually Buffalo kind of matches up better with Detroit than they do the Los Angeles Rams. So that is something to watch. But Minnesota, team that the Rams already beat at home. You can mention, penalties all you want to, but let's face the facts. And the facts are that they scored 6 points after their first two drives. So I think that the Rams played a great game that day, and no reason to think you couldn't do it again, obviously. And then we're just more healthy now than we were then anyway. And then also Green Bay, man. So that was another game that I was able to get to out in Los Angeles, but a loss for the Rams against the Green Bay Packers. They are 9-4, and that was a very, very tight game, and kind of one of those where it kind of defines the season in a weird way. Maybe not so much in like the terms of like the loss and all that, but that a couple of big plays, a couple of explosives were really the difference. And we also saw that in this game against the Buffalo Bills. Had some plays. There's a deep ball to Shakir that I thought should have been picked off by Curl, and even watching it live, I kind of thought it was, and then wasn't, unfortunately. But it seems like explosive plays are really the killer right now for this Rams defense. So, but the Packers game, that was a game that the Rams could have, should have, would have won, whatever. Didn't, unfortunately, but we weren't healthy. Didn't have Kupp, didn't have Nakua, and we can see very blatantly this is a very different offense when those two dudes are out on the football field. So something to keep our eyes on as well. We don't play Washington this year, but Washington is having some struggles, sitting at 8-5. This week they were at the New Orleans Saints. Green Bay is at Seattle, so a little bit torn there. Do we want the Packers to win? We want the Packers to lose? Yeah, we want Seattle to lose. I don't necessarily want the Packers to win, but I do want the Seahawks to lose. Does that make sense? Does that emotion check out? And then Minnesota's hosting Chicago. That will be on Monday Night Football. As we're looking at the wild card race, though, Rams sitting just outside now, officially the first team out of a wild card slot. Of course, in San Francisco, Thursday Night Football. Full game preview coming up here soon. That's 7-6 though for the Rams. Three teams behind them all, 6-7. Atlanta Falcons at 6-7 at the Las Vegas Raiders, the second of two Monday Night Football games, or I don't know which one's first officially. It's like 5 and 5:30 kickoffs or whatever, but either way, two Monday Night Football games this week, Atlanta and Vegas. Arizona is behind the Falcons, and they are sitting at 6-7. They are hosting the New England Patriots this go-round, and San Fran is behind them, of course, hosting the Rams on Thursday Night Football. So obviously that's a tough race right there. Washington in New Orleans, and let me actually just check what the rest of their games are going to be here, because that is actually something we're watching, obviously, as we kind of creep in. I know that I'm just like talking about it right now, that the division race is the one that we want to go for and not necessarily the wild card. And I do still believe that, obviously, but I said the opposite. I'm trying to do two things here. I gotta stop doing that. But when I know that I'm saying right now that like those races are even, because they are. But obviously, you still want to go division. So that's still kind of where my brain's going. But if we look at the Washington Commanders schedule here, they are in New Orleans, home against the Eagles, home against the Falcons, and then to Dallas. So that is a tough stretch. I mean, I could definitely see that being a 2-2, 1-3 stretch for Washington. But we'll see, though, because I also think that they're a pretty good football team. Much better than they have been in previous seasons. But the Rams in San Fran, obviously we'll know that result pretty early. But to that point, man, if the Rams get up to 8-6 and Washington is in New Orleans, we'll be rooting for the Saints, because obviously the Saints are below the Rams right now in all the races, and the Rams have a head-to-head. Don't think that would really impact us much there. But of course, Atlanta and New Orleans, that's a little tight little battle in there too with that division. I don't think New Orleans is going to make a playoff push, but that is a tough or an interesting little battle to watch. So that's what we got for wild card. But if we take a look at the rest of the West, time to see what those other three dweebs are up to. Mainly, we're looking right now at what they're ending their season with and kind of how this could be shaken out. So first place, Seattle Seahawks at 8-5. They are 3-2 in the division. They will be hosting the Packers, then hosting the Vikings. Very tough 2 games right there in Chicago. Definitely not a slouch of a game. You go to Chicago late December, good luck, dude. And then at the Rams, impossible, obviously. We're the best ever. No one's ever going to keep us down, dude. Seattle. That's 2 tough games back to back. They are at home for those, but that is something that the Rams could be leaking into first place in the NFC West before we know it. The Rams sitting in second place right now at 7-6, 2-1 in the division this week at San Fran, then at the New York Jets before wrapping it up with 2 home division games, Cardinals and Seahawks. Rams do control their own destiny right now, do control their own destiny for the 4 seed, but need a little bit of help if they were to creep into a 3 seed. And your playoffscenarios.com has the Rams with a 69% chance of missing the playoffs, but these percentages are always just based off of cold, hard math and not momentum. And the Rams have some really sick momentum right now. And I know that there is no way to calculate momentum or those intangibles or whatever, but either way, man, this Rams in December thing it's real. It's awesome. So I feel like the Rams have a better than, or a worse than 69% chance to miss the playoffs, I think is the way I want to word that. But either way, I think that 69% chance to miss the playoffs, which means the 31% chance to get in. I just feel like that's a little bit low considering what this division is looking like right now and how well the Rams are playing at this point in time. Arizona Cardinals in third place at 6-7. This is the team the Rams do not have the head-to-head against, so having a better overall record is massive. Cardinals are 2-2 in the division. They will host the Patriots. Then they head out to take on the Panthers in Carolina, at the Rams, and then home against the 49ers. So definitely not necessarily the most difficult schedule in the rest of the league, but definitely a tough game, tough matchups here. New England Patriots, that's certainly a game that the Patriots could come in and win this. At Carolina, I think Carolina's a little bit sneakier than people think. They're a little bit tougher to beat than people give them credit for, and I think that the Chiefs game kind of showed that to everybody. At the Rams, obviously the Rams will be kind of seeking some revenge there, seeking some clarity or just like evening that out of what happened earlier in the year, because that wasn't us in week 2, man. I don't know who took the field for us, but that's not the Rams that I know. And then, of course, hosting San Fran, that can be tough. The Arizona Cardinals, by the way, do not control their own destiny. They can win out and still miss the playoffs. That's what happens when you're sitting in third place at this point of the season. And in last place of the NFC West, the San Francisco 49ers at 6-7, 1-3 in the division right now. That is tough. With a loss on Thursday, they will clinch a losing division record. Hosting the LA Rams this week, then at the Miami Dolphins, home versus the Detroit Lions, and then at the Arizona Cardinals. That very legitimately could be 0-4. I'm not saying it will be, but that is a tough stretch for the San Francisco 49ers. I feel pretty confident saying that they're not going to be a playoff team this year. If they are able to pull it off, then of course that would be a team to watch come playoff time, but I think that they are a little bit too beat up to pull this off. Another team also that does not control their own destiny can win out and still miss the postseason and would be eliminated from postseason contention with a loss to the Rams on Thursday Night Football and a Seahawks win or tie against the Green Bay Packers. So I'm not sure if either of those are, or if the Seahawks are going to be able to beat the Green Bay Packers. I think the Packers are just stronger than Seattle. But let's also keep in mind the Packers have only defeated one team with a winning record on the season so far. So could there be some fraud alertness going up in Green Bay? I don't know. We'll see. I think they're a good football team. I just don't think that they're really going off on people. Kind of like the Chiefs. I mean, I realize everybody hates the Chiefs right now, but I feel like, I don't know. There's something weird about the Chiefs right now where it's like I feel like they're just playing with us. Like, are the Chiefs the luckiest team in the world, or are they so good that they are playing with everybody? Probably not, right? I think it's just a fun thing to think about. We got a full game preview that is headed your way here soon, but first, let's hear from today's sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. UnderdogFantasy.com is where you can get signed up using promo code SHOWCASE to get some sweet action. It is the place to play if you're a sports fan looking to win some money while watching sports. The Rams, of course, playing on Thursday Night Football, so all day Sunday, hey, just rack it on up like I'll be doing Underdog Fantasy all day long this coming Sunday as I just chill out and watch the LA Rams. Underdog is the best place to cash in on all your takes this football season. Which players are going absolutely off, man? Puka Nacua? You tell me. Which ones are going absolutely ice cold? Jawan Jennings? You tell me. Also got that red zone rush, a game where you can't find anywhere else. Just pick whether or not a player will score a touchdown. You swipe right for yes, left for no. Really is that simple. Plus, your entry will be automatically boosted, and you get a 51% profit boost when you play. You could also win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on players' stats like passing yards, interceptions, touchdowns, tackles, assisted tackles, sacks, all that good stuff. Super, super simple and available in 33 states, including California. LA Rams fans, Texas, and Georgia are also included in that action. Underdog is literally giving you an unlimited profit boost make your basketball entries as well. So it's not just football. I know most of you are also other fans of other sports. We got hockey going on. We got basketball going on. Before you know it, baseball will be back, and then the NFL is going to be starting, and then we're going to be back here again. That's so exciting, dude. So exciting. My favorite part of all of it is how smooth the app is. Underrated smoothness of app usage. I don't think it gets enough credit for that. And also just the pure simplicity. You type in LOS and hit search. Rams game will pop up there. You can start firing off your entries, and then you are locked and loaded. Download the app today. Use promo code SHOWCASE. Get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. $1,000 in bonus cash instantly using promo code SHOWCASE. Higher or lower, you make the call on Underdog. Must be 18 or over, 19 or over in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 and over in Colorado for some games, 21 and over in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line. That is 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. The Los Angeles Rams heading up the coast, taking on the San Francisco 49ers. I'll have your full game preview. That's next on Ram Showcase. Welcome back. This is Ram Showcase. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. The Los Angeles Rams heading into Week 15, this time on Thursday Night Football primetime action. 7-6 record for the Rams heading to the San Francisco 49ers, sitting at 6-7 right now. Levi's Stadium will play host. 5:15 p.m. kickoff time, Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit on the call. Kaylee Hartung will be on the sideline. It does feel like the Al Michaels-Kirk Herbstreit combo that they're a little bit anti-Rams, it does feel like, and I don't know that for sure, but it does feel Kirk is a little anti-Rams, and I'm not sure why I get that vibe so much, but there's something that does feel like that. But just tell me if you feel the same way after watching the game on Thursday. So we had a high of 58 on Friday in Santa Clara. And we do have a chance of rain most of the day, but might get away with having a dry game. Not too windy. Should be mid-50s, though, for the entire game. For you bettors, Rams are plus 2.5 and plus 124 on the money line, and we are 49.5 for your over/under. Let's take a look at the pants picks here. I do believe that, yes, so we do have all of them in here. I'm going with the Royal pants, as the Rams will be in the white jersey this time. Payo time also going Royal, and we have Rams House going Soul, and he says he thinks it's a big risk, and I don't know. I kind of do too, and I think that he's just going Soul probably because he's just like almost about to clinch a win here, clinch the pants picks. I don't know I don't know. We should have had a prize. Maybe I'll send him pants. I don't know. He's gonna win. You get a pair of pants. I don't know what to tell you. It's pretty cool. But drop your pants picks below. We'll probably see them tomorrow. We may already have them actually, but our pants picks were in. I promise they were in there before. A lot of things that we are looking for in this game. So the Rams can play part in the 49ers being eliminated from the playoffs this weekend. That's rather exciting with a 49ers loss and a Seahawks win versus the Packers. 49ers cannot make the playoffs. So we'll see what happens there. I do have the Packers beating Seattle, so maybe we'll have to wait another week before we get to all post about how the 49ers are not going to the playoffs, which does feel very realistic. I'll be honest. It just feels like something that's not going to be able to happen for them this year. But, oh well. Rams have won the last two versus Seattle, but sure, one was without those starters, but it does count. You know what I mean? Just because we benched all of our starters for that one, so did they. So, I mean, depth versus depth. Hey, and the game actually counted. It was an official game. Just because Carson Wentz played, not Matthew Stafford, doesn't mean like those stats don't count. That doesn't count as the all-time. You know what I mean? Like still there, man. Still there. Some injuries that we're looking for in this one. We do have the injury reports a little bit better now that we're playing on Thursday because we're recording this just 2 days out of the game. But as far as your Monday participants in practice, participants. That's right. We'll start with Kobe Durant, Tyler Davis, Jordan Whittington, Davis Allen, DeMarcus Robinson, and Bo Limmer all did not practice on Monday. Full participants, though, we have KT Leviston and Tyler Higbee. Yes, we should be getting Tyler Higbee back for this game. I do think that he did sit the Bills game because he was going to be ready for this one, and I think that this is a pretty big game. Get him back in, get a division win. AFC games are definitely some, I mean, obviously you want to win any game, but a division game, much, much higher stakes. So Tyler Higbee returning for this one makes perfect sense. On the 49ers side, Ben Barch, Nick Bosa, Isaac Guerrero, and Trent Williams all did not participate in practice. Limited participants, Dre Greenlaw, Yetur Gross-Matos, Malik Mustafa, and D. Winters. History of this matchup all time. This is the 152nd all-time meeting between these two. We've had plenty of football games against the 49ers. 49ers do lead the all-time series 78-70-3. Rams have won the past two. 49ers won the previous three. You can hear about the streaks, I'm sure, from 49ers fans. They love to talk about them. 49ers have won 9 of the last 12 against the Rams, but that big old one, the NFC Championship game. And that one was awesome because mainly it was one of those situations, I talked about it ad nauseum right here, man, was that either you're in that NFC Championship game, you're either going to be the reason your most hated rival gets to play a Super Bowl in your home stadium, or you get to knock out your most hated division rival so that you can play a Super Bowl in your own stadium. It was destiny, dude. It was going to happen. But winning that game was absolutely huge. And 2 times in the postseason that the Rams and 49ers have met. That is it. Both were NFC Championship games. Most recent game between these two came in Week 3. That was a Rams win, 27-24. Outscored the Niners by 10 points in the fourth quarter. First ever game between these two came on October 1st of 1950. That was a 35-14 win by the Los Angeles Rams. Some stories we're watching in this one. 49ers are officially in desperation mode. Could win out and not make the playoffs. They need help. They don't control their own destiny, and they are definitely in that desperation mood already. We're going into Week 15 right now. It's desperate time. A loss all but put San Fran out of the postseason, not officially, if the Packers are able to beat the 49ers, of course, the Seahawks, of course, but it's looking extremely likely that San Fran will not be playing past week 18. San Fran not only is at risk of missing the postseason, but it's looking extremely likely that they are just kind of having a bad year. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen it with us, so I don't want to send like too much trash talk or anything like that over to the 49ers side. But we've seen, I mean, after the Super Bowl year, stuff like that, injuries are a big one for the 49ers. So obviously there's a lot of moving pieces to just becoming, going from being one of the more dangerous teams in the league to not even making the playoffs. But does not mean that they won't come to play, especially versus the Rams. This is still a division game, so obviously still going to be high flying action. That's going to be pretty critical. 49ers are 1-3 in their last 4, but did beat the Chicago Bears last week. Before that, both the Packers and the Bills, though, were just tossing them around, man. It was hard going for the 49ers, which we love to see, of course. But the Rams have no clinching scenarios this week, but getting to 3-1 in the division, that's absolutely massive. So obviously we'll still have 2 more to play after that with the Seahawks and the Cardinals to end up the season. But Stafford is on fire right now. 10 touchdowns, no picks in his last 4 starts. Rams are 10-1 in December with Stafford since he came over in 2021. So obviously just absolutely on fire there. And if the Rams are serious right now, this is a game you win. Simply put, you come off of a game against the Buffalo Bills where you win by 2, high-flying fashion. First game ever where 2 teams scored more than 40 and there was no turnovers. There was all kinds of stats like that. No sacks, no turnovers for that much offense is unheard of. So rather exciting stuff. But you come off of that game, and if you don't win this game, then are you serious about going to the playoffs? I don't think so. This is one of those games where you come into this one, and if you are a legitimate contender, a legitimate late season push for a playoff spot team, you win this game. Simply put, it's prime time. It's a division battle against the team that's in last place in your division right now. You're trying to win the division. All those pieces are coming into place, and this is a game you win if you are serious about making a push. And also, shout out, dude, for all those people who were like, we need to get rid of this guy, we need to get rid of this guy ahead of the trade deadline. Why are we not selling? All this stuff. Well, this is why. This is why we didn't sell, dude. This is it right now. We're experiencing the did not sell, and so now we're happy about it. Could you imagine we're almost this good, but then we didn't have Cup, and we'd be like, dang it, if only we had a guy like him, So, I mean, take that for what you will, I suppose. McVay, by the way, 7-2 on Thursday Night Football and has won the last 3. I kind of hate Thursday Night Football games. I don't think weekday games should be a thing at all anymore. I think maybe I'm just getting too old for Thursday or for weekday games. I gotta work the next day, dude. Let's wrap this up, man. Make it on a Sunday. It's gonna be okay. But I kind of hate the Thursday Night Football games. But this one, the timing of it is incredible. So I love getting the Bills game and then getting this game. I mean, I would have loved for this one to be at home. But coming off of that Bills game and you don't have time to really think about it, it's time to start prepping for another game. Our young team, I think, will do a good job with that specifically. That, we can't celebrate this win. We got the Niners coming up. I think that is a good thing. Then you get a 3-game, little stretch off of what we kind of consider a mini bye week on a Thursday night game. I absolutely love this. So you get the mini bye week off to New York to take on the Jets, a game you probably should win. Then you're back home against the Arizona Cardinals and Seattle Seahawks to wrap up your season. I like it. I like all this right now. Thursday night, this is the only time that I'm like, okay, this is actually kind of sweet timing for some Thursday night football action. And if the Rams go 4-0 to end the season, they win the NFC West. In worst case scenario, get the 4 seed, but could also be looking at a 3 seed depending on what happens out there in the NFC South. Let's take a look at the matchup in this one. The Rams offense going against the Niners defense. Niners defense is a top 3 unit. The Rams now officially in the top half in total offense, 15th in the league. Passing the ball, Rams are 9th, and Niners defense are 3rd in the league. Running the ball, this is kind of where the Rams, I think, are gaining some ground here, and I think are underrated. 25th ranked, going against the 12th ranked run defense for the 49ers, but I like this matchup here. Points being scored, Rams putting up almost 23 a game. That's dead center in the league. And Niners defense giving up almost 24. That's 21st. Third down conversion rate, 22nd ranked for the Rams offense at 36.7%. And the 27th ranked 49ers defense giving up almost 44% on their third down conversion. So obviously that is a big number there, and a way that the Rams could be able to take advantage. Also coming off of a big third down game this last week. We've seen that happen, man. Third downs are absolutely massive, and I think that's especially this year, that third down conversion rate in each game is kind of telling the story for the Rams right now. We had, we're sitting like 0-8 a couple weeks back. What was that, against the Dolphins, I think it was. Then, you get this one where going into the second half, we're like 83% on third down. So, I mean, obviously, it helps. It's huge, man. So being able to keep drives going, keep those opposing offenses off of the field. And I know that the 49ers offense is obviously like real banged up and stuff like that, but still keeping Purdy and Jawan Jennings on the sideline, George Kittle and those guys, that's going to be huge for this Rams offense. So playing the Rams offense is a good defense, especially in these games as we wrap up the season in December here. Rams coming off of their strongest output of the season, 44 points. It was absolutely awesome. Should have been 45. I don't know what happened on that kick. On the extra point. I know that Cardi ended up on the ground. I think he slipped or something. Kind of hard to tell where I was sitting, and I also was rolling my eyes so hard that I didn't see what happened, because that happens. But 49ers gave up just 162 yards to the Bears offense last week, 94 passing yards. That is very, very low, but it's the Bears, so not looking too deep into that. Week before that, Bills ran for 220 on San Fran. Running attack could be where the Rams go to on Thursday Night Football for sure. 49ers defense has certainly not been a bad unit, but 49ers in general just feel like they're kind of in an off year. Injuries are stacking up. They're just having some weird games and stuff, so just kind of seems like one of those. We know how those go. Rams offense has a chance to really build off of last week against a division opponent and put themselves in a really good spot. So the Rams offense will need to just be that unit that shows up big time obviously to make that playoff push, but against a division rival, the Rams offense is going to be that unit that I think needs to kind of set the tone for this game. Not only was third down conversion rate great for the Rams against the Buffalo Bills, but time of possession was absolutely huge as well, which is just how you beat a team like that. So keeping that kind of momentum going into this game, I think, should be kind of the focus. Best matchup in this one, I'm looking at Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua versus that 49ers secondary. Kupp and Nacua are a combo that should really just be feared by the entire NFL. It's probably the best combo of any team. I mean, who was talked about? I'm not sure. I was watching a lot of stuff, but somebody's saying that the Stafford, Nacua, and Kupp trio is the best in the league for a passing attack. And then there were some other comments of like the Bengals combo, Minnesota's combo, stuff like that. But it's like, yeah, but these guys, when they're healthy and clicking, I mean, who can stop this Rams trio? I mean, it's absolutely just top tier, man. Nakua's racking up yards like it's toilet paper in 2020. Just no messing around, man. Just stockpiling, man. It's absolutely incredible to watch. And Charvarius Ward and Diamador Lenore, they're a solid combo, but they got their work cut out for them, man. Will they be enough to slow down this attack? I'm just not sure. Mustafa Antafunga, solid safety combo as well, but Stafford going to 10-17 is just a connection that not a lot of people can slow down right now. So I'm feeling good about it going into Thursday Night Football. Let's take a look at the 3-2C. We're going to start with Tutu Atwell. The 2-2 train has definitely been rolling, certainly in position of trust right now in the Rams offense, which you absolutely love to see. Atwell continues to find his groove in the offense and certainly fills his role nicely. I mean, it doesn't feel like drops are an issue. It doesn't feel like he's playing poorly in really any capacity or any regard. He's running his routes well. He's catching the football. He's picking up that huge fourth down. That going for it was like, are we going to snap this, man? Like, but it's like I just don't know if we trust Cardi enough to try to do that. But also, that only makes it a 6-point game. So I think I go for that also. Just in knowing that who you got on the other side there. That's like, you got to be aggressive in that setting for sure. And needed to be. Obviously, it clearly worked out for the Rams, but Tutu coming in clutch on that one. Absolutely love to see it. But another game where all weekend tape, 10 and 17 are going to be showing up, so Tutu has a chance to have a big day. Next up, we're going to go with Blake Corum. This selection has absolutely nothing to do with the way that Kyron Williams is playing, because Kyron's playing awesome, man. On his first carry of the day, Blake Corum, dude, that shake he had, man, that little shimmy, he put Epinesa on one knee, dude. That was so sick, man. That was so sick. Love to see it, man. And Blake, obviously, he's running confident now. I think he's running more confident now than he had been all season. On a short week, Rams could really rely on the run game, and Blake could be another important piece this week. Last up on your 3 to see on the offensive side, we're going to go with Big Rob Havenstein. Big Rob had a great day against Von Miller. I do know that that fourth down play should have had a false start on Big Rob, but I didn't see it. So the play happened anyway, and also that was more than what would have been the 10 yards, the completion that is to Tutu. So if that play didn't happen and that gets called back, there's still a chance that the Rams pick it up. Obviously, whole situation changes. But the difference when in our offensive line when Big Rob is playing is palpable. It is able to be palped, man. I'm telling you, Rob Havenstein is just the anchor of this line, and being only, I think he's 33 years old, 34 years old. He's right around my age, just above my age. And he's just absolutely killing it, man. So obviously Nick Bosa's availability is unknown right now, but if he does play, of course we'll be watching him against Big Rob. But if not, I do expect to see some interesting blitz looks to make up for that dip in talent for losing Bosa. The advantage here, I mean, look, I realize that this is a top 3 defense right now for the San Francisco 49ers, but they're coming off a game against the Bears, and their previous 2 games, they just gave up quite a bit. I know that those are really good teams, the Bills and the Packers, that they gave up a lot to, but I don't know. I said last week that maybe the Rams offense was still struggling because they had just gotten healthy and hadn't developed that continuity yet, and maybe they did that against the Bills. And in that case, if that is the case, if the Rams now have found their continuity and are going to be rolling with a healthy team, and now, going into this week, healthy completely for the first time this whole season with Tyler Higbee scheduled to be back, sorry about your defense, San Fran. Sorry about your defense. Advantage here goes to the Rams going based on momentum alone. Let's take a look at the other side here, the 49ers offense against the Rams defense. 49ers on offense are 4th in total yards. The Rams defense 26th in total in yards given up. Passing the ball, top 7 unit for the 49ers, and the Rams defense is 24th in the league. Running the ball, 7th again for the 49ers offense. The Rams giving up 141. That's 28th in the NFL, but of course, still getting some dippage from a few big games here. But those averages are kind of just a touch skewed, just a touch though. Points being put up, tied for 11th for the 49ers offense. Putting up almost 24 a game, and the Rams giving up 25.5. That's 24th in the league. Third down conversion percentage, 43.7 for the 49ers offense, and the Rams defense giving up 40.6. That's 20th in the NFL. So, Rams defense does continue to have just really untimely mistakes and penalties. And there's some that, like on that 4th down defensive pass interference to Quentin Lake, I don't think that should have been called. They didn't comment on that on the broadcast. I just finished my rewatch of it. They didn't comment on that on the broadcast that it should have been called. But I think it shouldn't have, because I don't think Shakir made enough of an effort to turn around and try to fight for the ball. Quentin Lake had his back turned, and I just don't think that should have been called, man. I see that a lot of times not called, so I was surprised that it was, but either way. But if that stops, though, those untimely mistakes, this defense is really, really good. Stopping the Bills close to the end zone proved to be a struggle with Josh Allen, of course, but 49ers just aren't that same kind of offense. So if we can get them to, third and goal at the 1, I don't feel like they have the same amount of push that the Buffalo Bills would be able to have on that offensive line. 49ers are down their top 2 running backs for sure, and could be out Garendo as well. And that would mean that Patrick Taylor Jr. would be the top guy, with Israel Abanikanda serving as RB2. Probably screwed that up. I do apologize. Much like the defense of the 49ers, they are coming off a big day versus Chicago, but a few rough days before that. Couldn't get up to 250 total offensive yards against the Bills or the Packers. And the Rams on defense, again, have a lot of talent, but a lot of inexperience. Got close to a bunch of sacks last week, but just didn't get home on any of them. But the pressure was certainly present. So if the Rams front is able to cause some more problems this week, I do think that the way that Josh Allen plays, he's good at not taking sacks. He's good at moving around. And I know that Brock Purdy is as well. But Brock Purdy also relies pretty heavily on Christian McCaffrey when he is under those pressures. That's like his last minute, like quick, get the ball out to this guy. We saw that a lot this year, and he was relying really heavily on that. Brock Purdy definitely is a worse quarterback when Christian McCaffrey's not on the football field. I think it's very obvious to see. I think a lot of 49ers fans try to argue with you on that, but I think that the facts are there, man. I think that when he's really confident in his players who are like straight up superstars, he's an incredible talent. And yes, he can run around, and sure, he doesn't have a bad arm. But I still put him middle of the pack as far as overall NFL quarterbacks go, and it's because of that. I don't feel like any game that I've ever seen from Brock Purdy or the 49ers that he just put them on his back and carried them to a win. He relied real heavily on his supporting cast. And that's exactly why I say that. And it's not intended to necessarily just be a shot at Brock Purdy. I'm not just trying to just, down this guy or anything like that. I'm just saying what I see. I have never seen him, like a guy like Matthew Stafford, put the team on his back and say, you know what, I'm not losing this game. I'm going to go make whatever play I need to go make to do this. He starts doing dump-offs and screen passes to Debo, and he gets just slant to Kittle, then a dump-off to CMC, and then they go down and score, and everybody's like, Purdy's incredible. It's like, is he? Or does he have some of the sickest weapons in the NFL? And that isn't the case right now, and I do think that is indicative and kind of reflects and mirrors in their record. You lose some guys, you lose that talent, you lose that security blanket. They're 6-7, last place in the division. I don't think it's an accident. If you take away the Rams stars and all that stuff, we're still in games. I realize that there were some games that the Rams were losing, stuff like that, but you took away Nakua and Kupp, Matthew Stafford's two favorite guys. We're in the game the whole time against the Packers. We are beating teams like the Raiders and stuff like that. Well, I think we had them back for that, but either way, so we're in a lot of those games. And I know we were 1-4 to start the season, and those weapons were out, but there was a lot of games in there where Matthew Stafford was playing great ball. And I just don't think that the same thing can be said for a Brock Purdy. Again, I'm not just trying to talk trash on Brock Purdy. I'm just calling it like I see it, that when you take away his really good weapons, he's just not the same quarterback. He looks a little jittery out there. He's quicker to get rid of it. His accuracy dwindles, and then he does that Jordan Love thing where he's kind of throwing the ball off his back foot a lot and stuff. So I think that we see that very clearly. But either way, also I'd love to see Verse and Fisk, and I mean really this entire Rams front, after getting so many pressures last week, to be able to get home on some more sacks. I know that they do come in bunches, and that was a tough offense to get sacks against. But I would like to see those kind of get home a little bit more. Let's take a look at the best matchup here. 49ers offense against the Rams defense. I'm going to go with Juwan Jennings versus the Rams secondary. Much like the Rams offense, there's a really good wide receiver matchup here. Juwan Jennings is the one, though. I am just, I know I said Kupp and Puka for the Rams offense. I am going just Jennings here for the 49ers offense. I'm not adding Debo because he is second on the team in targets, but does lead the team in drops. So, I don't know. Sounds like struggling to me, Debo, but what the heck do I know? So, it does seem like he's just kind of lost a little bit of a step. He doesn't seem as aggressive or as strong as he has in the past, and I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure if he's dealing with some injuries and stuff like that, but Debo definitely just doesn't look like the same player that he has been in the past. Juwan Jennings, though, had a really good day against the Rams in their first meeting. 11 catches for 175 yards and 3 touchdowns. The lack of weapons elsewhere on the 49ers offense means to me that if you can stop Jennings, you should be able to win this football game. And that's not to say that if Juwan Jennings isn't stopped, the Rams can't win this football game. I mean, he literally had 11 catches, 175 yards, and 3 touchdowns last time the Rams won that game. So it's not necessarily like one of those things where if he goes off, we don't feel like we have a chance or anything like that. But I do think that he is the strongest weapon on that 49ers offense coming into this game. The lack of weapons elsewhere, though, like I said, on the 49ers offense, just Jennings, he's going to be kind of targeted, I think. I think he'll be kind of the focal point as far as the Rams or the 49ers game planning goes. And although I am hesitant to say that if you don't stop him, though, that like, again, if Jennings goes off, that the Rams just can't win this game. I'm hesitant to say that, but simply lack of weapons for San Fran. I think that Jennings is going to be that kind of guy. Let's take a look over here at the 3 to C for the Rams defense. I'm going to start with Jared Verse. Was definitely getting into the backfield, had some real sweet pass rush moves, had a couple of spins that led to him on the ground, which I didn't like to see, but hey, what can you do? He's had what feels like at least a player or two every game that makes you that kind of just where you're like, this guy's insane, man. Like, this guy is he's one of the best already, just like he has a few of those plays a game where you're just like, oh my God, Jared, it's absolutely crazy, man. But it's easy to see Purdy feeling less comfortable without CMC, like I had mentioned. So if Verse can get to the backfield and create some chaos, I think that would be very good for the Rams. Quentin Lake is going to be next up on the 3 to C. It feels like Lake is playing well, but not great right now. He is having those plays every game. They kind of just make you shake your head. Like, there was the touchdown that he gave up. Then there was another penalty where it's like, dude, like, come on, man. But I mean, he's Captain Q, man. I'm looking for him to turn it up against a division rival. I think he is one of these leaders on this defense. So I'm looking for Captain Q to turn it around. And he's not playing poorly. There just seems to be too many plays, I think, where you're like, dude, what was that? So I'm liking Quentin Lake in this one, though. Short week, being a leader, you got to just rally the troops, man. Captain Q, I like it. Byron Young is going to be my last on 3 to C here. I know we just went with the other edge rusher here, but with the 49ers possibly down their top 3 running backs, pass rush is going to be huge for the Rams this week. We cannot forget about the run entirely, obviously, but these are still NFL players. I mean, what we say what we want about backups or whatever, they still made it to the NFL. These are still some of the best athletes in the world. But Purdy is going to be leaned on quite a bit either way. And if the Rams can get Jared Verse and Byron Young into Purdy's face all day long, it could lead to some turnover opportunities for the secondary, something we didn't see last week also. BYV8, create some chaos, and leading to a big day for the Rams. I absolutely love to see it. Advantage here. Again, I realize this is a top 5 unit overall, right? Top 4 offense for the 49ers at the moment. But is it really? Nothing about the 49ers feels overly powerful right now. Rams defense has certainly been a spotty unit, but rewatching the Bills game, it really should have been more lopsided. The 3 half-yard touchdown runs from Josh Allen accounted for 21 points. Most teams can't pull that kind of thing off. Plus some really just oddly timed penalties. There's some that just didn't feel that great. That OPI that was called on D-Rob, that one he got hurt on, shouldn't have been OPI. Shouldn't have been DPI, honestly. Should have just let that one go. And if you're going to call it on both of them, shouldn't you not call it on any of them? I mean, doesn't that stand to reason if they are both messing with each other? It's like, just call it a wash. I mean, just let the play happen. Just let it see what it is. And at that point, I mean, whatever. But either way, based on momentum, again, I'm giving this one to the Rams. I'm giving advantage to the Rams defense. I think the Rams defense knows that they are a unit that is behind right now. And I like that if there's going to be a week for the Rams defense to really turn it on and kind of show what they can do, this has just got to be it. This has got to be the one. Division, Thursday Night Football, primetime, this has got to be the one that you got to do it in. Let's take a look at some connections here. Former Rams who are on the 49ers, defensive coordinator Nick Sorensen. He was a player for the Rams, 01-02. Assistant head coach Brandon Staley, might remember him. He had a pretty cool defense for the Rams. Leonard Floyd is over there, Flo. Quarterback Brandon Allen served some time as like a QB3 for the Rams. Former 49ers who are now on the Rams. Quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. One of my all-time favorite plays against the 49ers happened to be against Jimmy Garoppolo. Aaron Donald throwing him to the ground. Traven Howard picking it off. Yeah! So sick. Offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur was also in San Fran. Safeties coach Chris Beek. Wide receivers coach Eric Yarbs. That was way back. And cornerback Kello Witherspoon spent some time there as well, a couple seasons. Some NFL connections for you. D. Will played in Jacksonville with offensive lineman Ben Barch, who may not play this weekend. Defensive tackle Neville Gallimore played in Dallas with Malik Collins. Tight end Eric Salbert. And offensive lineman Isaac Alarcon. Alarcon. Probably ruined that. My bad. Tyler Johnson played in Houston with Malik Collins, Chris Conley, and Isaac Yadam. I'm trying to say that not so fast. I feel like it's supposed to be like Yadam, but I say Yadam, Either way. D-Rob and Roseboom played in Kansas City with Javarius Ward. K-Dot played in Pittsburgh with Josh Dobbs and Javon Hargrave. A couple college connections for you. Kyron Williams played in Notre Dame with offensive lineman Aaron Banks. Blake Corum played in Michigan with wide receiver Ronnie Bell and cornerback Ambry Thomas. Connor McDermott played at UCLA with offensive lineman Jake Brendel. Jared Verse and Braden Fisk played at Florida State with Tatum Bethune and Renardo Green. And let's see, A.J. Jackson played at Iowa with George Kittle. Kobe Turner played at Wake Forest with Malik Mustafa. And Jake Hummel played at Iowa State with Brock Purdy. A couple of milestones that we have either reached or we're keeping our eyes on. And, I didn't do the math on Record Watch, but Record Watch officially for Christian Roseboom, by the way, officially now not on pace to be getting that record right now. But still plenty of opportunities, and definitely just one or two of these games having a big week could put them right on pace to beat the single season tackle record for the Rams set by Ernest Jones last year. Needs 145 is the record, so if Christian Roseboom, who does lead the Rams, can get to 146, we'll set that mark. Other than that, though, Matthew Stafford, first Rams quarterback to record multiple touchdown passes and 0 interceptions in 4 straight games. No other Rams quarterback has ever done that. Officially has also defeated 30 teams in the NFL, now with his first career win against the Buffalo Bills. This week, he needs 207 passing yards to pass Kurt Warner for 6th most in Rams history. Kyron Williams reached 1,000 rushing yards in back-to-back seasons. That's absolutely awesome. And this week, he needs 60 rushing yards to pass Eric Dickerson for most consecutive games with at least 60 rushing yards. That would be a Rams record. And Quentin Lake needs just 4 tackles to reach 100. Would be the 11th Rams DB all-time to hit that mark, and the first since Jordan Fuller in 2021. Jordan Fuller for president. I got his jersey still sitting there. Big fan. I have not yet selected a new favorite player, by the way. There's just too many really sick ones. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many guys that I just like that I'm ready to like just fully hop. Kobe Turner, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk is in that. Puka Nacua, obviously. Kevin Dotson, because he's so sick, dude. We've got Cam Kinchins, I'm a big fan of. Bobby Brown, Giga Maggies, man. Christian Roseboom has been my dude for a long time. I don't know. I can't pick, so I don't know. We're still not there yet. So I want to know your favorite player, though. Let me know who yours is. Maybe that'll kind of help me figure it out. I got to figure something out, man, because, I think it's fun, man. I know some people think it's I've been made fun of a bunch for, it's like, oh, he goes crazy about one player all the time or whatever. But it's like, I think it's fun, man. This is a game. And ultimately, like, we're just fans, right? So, like, for me, it's just like that brings it back to being, young and watching this team and stuff and just kind of having fun with it and picking a favorite player. And, like, I don't know, that stuff's just kind of fun to me. To keep it loose, keep it fun, man. This is a game that we're talking about here. So why not have a good time with it, man? So, Thursday night football. Rams heading up to take on the San Francisco 49ers. A win goes a long way in pushing to playing more games after Week 18. So Rams win does a lot of good into the universe. Thanks for hanging out with me. We'll get into our fan quesos. That's right after this break on Ram Showcase. Ram Showcase. Sheriff Joe Bags, welcome back in. Let's get into our fan quesos. Don't have a lot for you this go round, and I think simply because of the timing. Thursday Night Football is a very tight week to get a whole podcast recorded and published and all that stuff. So we do have some good ones. I know that Payo Time and Rams House hopped in on the YouTube channel. Ooh, and we do see one over here on the Facebook. This one coming from Nick on the Facebook page. Says, not a question, but thought to myself, I know Sheriff Joe Bags is going crazy right now. Several times during that game this past weekend. Hope you enjoyed it. Dude, you're absolutely right, man. I was losing my mind. It was super, super, super cool. hard to complain on that one, man. That was like the punt block and touchdown that was coming right towards us, which was really, really cool to see. There was, a bunch of plays everywhere. So there was obviously just top tier, man. And like the way my seats were, I could see like right down the sideline, and I could see where Puka caught that ball. It was on that sideline that I could see right down. And as soon as he catches it, you knew it was a catch, like right away. It was one of those where as the ball was thrown, you're like, oh, it's probably going out of bounds. And then you're like, well, and it's like you're like, and then he catches it, and you're just losing my mind. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, there was a bunch of jumping, bunch of high fiving and stuff like that. We had we were in one of those weird sections. There was only 3 rows that we were in, and then so behind us we had these people show up, and it was like, hey, look, I'm trying to be cool and stuff. And it's like, look, I am a stander. If I'm in your way though, that's fine. Just let me know. I'll sit down or whatever. And they're like, don't worry about it. Do your thing, man. Have fun. You're good. Like, we'll stand if we need to, kind of thing. It's like, all right, sick. And then ended up just like being part of the high five crew and all that stuff, man. It was absolutely awesome, man. But you're absolutely right. I was losing my mind multiple times. And just being in my happy place, man. That's being at SoFi Stadium. I mean, you can't touch me at SoFi, dude. That's that's just the coolest stuff ever, man. So we're just gonna go down this list here. I didn't check out any of these ahead of time. So from Rams House and Payo time, they kind of come in all shuffled and random. So we're just gonna go down this list here. Start with Rams House. I know you've commented on how you think this is Tutu's last year in horns. However, I think he's been so clutch and consistent when we rely on him, including that 4th down versus the Bills, and many chain-moving plays over the course of the year. I don't think that Tutu is an elite receiver, but I do think he needs more opportunities, and the Rams should look into keeping him around this offseason. Feels like an unsung hero to me. Your thoughts? Yeah, man. I think that Tutu is, he's playing some really, really good football right now, and you're right. He is being relied on in some really critical situations, and he's performing. He's not having drop issues. He's catching those balls on the sideline. He's not taking big hits, which was, I know, a lot of people's worry about him. That 4th down was absolutely awesome. And me saying that Tutu, that I think that this is Tutu's last year with the Rams, is not intended in any way to be any kind of shot at Tutu. It's simply knowing how this team works and knowing how you can't keep everybody. You know, it's nothing more than that of my prediction of Tutu being gone. My main prediction on Tutu being gone is the fact that we haven't signed him to an extension, and his contract ends after this year. Feels like one of those guys we'll let walk. Because also, kind of like what you're saying here, the way that he has been reliable, I think he's outpricing himself. Because we're not going to be able to afford what Tutu, I think, will be asking for, or not necessarily asking for, but what his market will be to be a 4th wide receiver, 5th, if Jordan Whittington is who we think he can be. So that's for that reason. I still think that he is gone after this year, but I do like Tutu. I've got nothing bad to say about Tutu Atwell, but I do think that this is his last year with us, even though he is reliable this year. So for whatever that's worth. Let's see here. So cool to see the jet sweeps back in the McVay's offense. Yes, dude, absolutely fired up about that. Do you think do you think that will continue into this Niners game, or will we use it more as eye candy for the Niners to bite on? I think that with it being a short week, our offense will be a little bit turned down, but a McVay turned down offense, I do think includes jet sweeps because it's something that we're good at and we're used to. So I think it's something that we'll see this week, but I do think that you're kind of right in a sense that it is something that I think we'll try to get them to bite on. That coming up on tape against Buffalo is something that, they're going to see, obviously. So I think it does present some opportunities for us, but I think early we should try to do it and see what they think we're doing. Do they think that we're going jet sweep heavy, or do they think that we're going to be using it for play actions? And I think if you do one early on like your second drive or so and get a feel for how they defend it, I think that we could be able to utilize that in either setting against them this week. Let's see. You come from Payo time. The year is 2078. Oof. What are you telling your grandchildren about going to the Rams versus Bills in 2024? First of all, I don't have kids, so probably won't have grandchildren if I had to guess. I don't know if I'll have kids. sidebar. I mean, I'm just indifferent. I'm 33 and without, and I mean, at this point right now, like, I would be 34 and without because I'm, less than 9 months out of being 34. So I'm indifferent. If I have kids, that's awesome. If I don't, that's also awesome. That's cool. I've got zero complaints on life, so I'm not trying to throw a huge baby-shaped wrench into this clock, dude. But either way, that was a weird way to put that. I stand by it. But also, I've always wanted my own family and stuff. So I mean, I'm just indifferent now, though. I reached that point where it's like, I mean, I got my Ramley, dude. That's it. Either way, to answer your question, what am I telling my grandchildren about going to the Rams and Bills game in 2024? Mainly that it was free. That I got the tickets for free by winning a game from the Rams. And then I would say I met Super Bowl champion Roland Williams that day. I saw Puka make one of Puka's, iconic catches in person. Got to see Cooper Kupp score tuds. That's sick. And I got to see possibly the MVP get beat by my Rams. So, chew! Next day from Rams house, what would it be like sharing a room with John Johnson? John Johnson, man. I feel like we're like not seeing him at all right now. I'm hoping that he is the one that comes back from IR for that last slot that the Rams do have open. But to answer your question here, he would hate me because I would make him tell me everything about beating the Saints in the NFC Championship game. I would be asking questions about what happened in the locker room afterwards. Like, what'd you say to NRC after the game? Like, or what did NRC say to you, dude? That would be that, and he'd be like, enough about the NFC Championship game, okay? Next here from Rams house, is Cardi a bigger area of concern than we may think? Feels like we haven't gotten him into a groove yet, and just imagining him being put in a situation to win a game in the playoffs or end of the year makes me kind of nervous. You're absolutely right. And also, I think that the writing's a little bit on the wall with our trust level in Josh Cardi, that we're not really trying him in situations where you really think it's like, let's just get a 3 here and we'll roll out, Not necessarily that one against the Bills where we went for it on 4th down, because that was also only going to make it a 6-point game. So I still agree with that one. But there is a few opportunities where it's like we're punting when we're in field goal range, and it's like, well, that's because you don't trust your kicker. Like, that's it right there. I don't care what you say about, it's like, well, we just need percentages, say if you can do that. It's like, no. If you think you can get 3 out of your kicker, you get the 3. Points are it. That's the number one stat that they look for in a game. Points. So if you're not scoring points because you're nervous that your kicker's going to put your opponent in a good spot going the other way, then obviously that's an impact. So yeah, I do think it's a bigger area of concern than we may think. Juwan Jennings went crazy his first matchup earlier this year. How do you think we stop him or slow him down as opposed to earlier this year? How big of a difference will Debo make playing this game knowing he didn't play last time? Feels like he has always done well versus us. Yeah, Debo's had some good games against us. Debo, though, isn't the same player this year, just like the 49ers aren't the same team this year. What I would say as far as Juwan Jennings is that this secondary is now much more experienced than that last time we played them, and we're also just a healthier overall team. So we get a lot of guys back, obviously, and like Cam Kinchins has more experience now. Even like a Cam Curl is more embedded into our defense. Excuse me. And then, obviously Kobe Durant getting a bruised lung is unfortunate. Bruised lung too, man. I've had one of those. It sucks so hard. Luckily we're not dealing with, super cold weather or anything like that. Like when I had mine, it was like 20 degrees outside and it was miserable to even breathe, man, to even do anything. To exist was just so terrible. So I feel for Durant, man. I know how painful a bruised lung can be, man. That's that put me down for a while. So it's tough there. But if somebody like Emmanuel Forbes can maybe come in and give a bit of a different look than what they've seen before, I think that could be huge. But I also like having somebody like Akello now around. So somebody who wasn't here the first time. So I don't know. I think we'll see a mix up of the coverages, and I think we'll see a lot of blitzing, a lot of pressure onto Purdy. So ultimately, I do think if the Rams are able to just kind of stop that short passing game and stop those quick passes, and then letting Juwan Jennings kind of break out and Debo for that point as well. You brought him up in your question. If we can stop the yards after catch, I feel really good about this game. And I think that would be a big one. Pressure is going to be huge for sure. Rams house again. Remember that time Aaron Donald just ripped the ball out of the Niners player's hands and stole a possession? I think it was like 2017 in Santa Clara. Yes, dude. I remember that one so vividly still because you see him go in and like rip it. And then all of a sudden, like the way he falls down, it's like, oh, he didn't get it. And then he just like, that was so cool, man. The Aaron Donald moments against the Niners is like super, super cool, man. I shared that GIF for like ever. The one where he threw his helmet down against San Fran. Monday Night Football was the opening weekend when after he got ejected, and what he mouths, which I won't repeat here. That's like something I shared all the time. Like, oh man, yeah. Aaron Donald's got some iconic moments against San Fran, man. That's one of them. You're absolutely right, man. That was the way he was like falling down, just turns it and then just falls down and holds up the ball. It was like, hey, that was awesome, man. Good stuff. I like when like there's random memories like that like get presented to me because it's like, oh man, it takes me back to him, especially if I'm not thinking about him. Just sucks me right back into watching that game. That's fun stuff, man. Cool. Next one here from Rams House. Feels like we got to get up on the Niners early and put pressure on them to keep up with us. Force them to pass more than they'd want to. How pivotal are the first few possessions of this game, in your opinion? I think extremely pivotal. I think the Rams coming out and doing a really good job early against the Buffalo Bills kind of set the tone and let the Bills know of like, hey, we're here to play today. Like, well, I don't know what you guys are up to, but we're like, and I mean, that's kind of the other thing with the Bills game, though, specifically, is it like, there's totally a chance that the Bills, coming off of their division clinching game, this week they go to Detroit, and then that sandwiched in there was that game against the Rams. I mean, it kind of was the perfect storm for the Rams to win that game. But I think ultimately if the Rams, again, are able to kind of just jump out and then force a team that is good at running to pass on you, I think that's going to be a good thing. And let our pass rushers kind of just pin their ears back and go, because we have seen that this team struggles more to stop the run. And so if the Rams offense can jump out and force Brock Purdy to need to beat him with their arm, I like that. That doesn't bother me at all. So I'd like to see that for sure, man. So also there's a sidebar. This is not a question, but there was I'd have to try to find it. There was a moment in one of my videos last week. I think I caught a ghost. I got something floating around here. So if you see something, timestamp it and let me know, okay? Yeah, let's see. Next one here coming from Payo Time. Have the Rams officially won the Hunter trade now? No, but I like where your mind's at, man. If we could do that a bunch more times, that'd be awesome. But we gave away an absolute elite corner, and a 3rd round pick. Or was it 4 of 3rd round pick and Hunter Long? I don't remember. But either way, that's still, if we could have, I mean, I would pull back the trade again today if I could. I would give it back. Give Hunter Long back for Jalen today. I would absolutely do that. Mainly because we're stacked at tight end and we could use some secondary help for sure. I like Hunter. The Hunter, though. The Hunter Long move, I mean, whatever. It is what it is at this point. I like Hunter Long. Him being able to score that touchdown was absolutely awesome. Love your question, but no, obviously. Next here, Rams House. I see a strip, sack, scoop, and score, the 4 S's coming in this game. If this happens, who do you think would make that play? I say Fisk or BY. I like that you say Fisk or BY because I'm saying Jared, dude. I think that Jared would be the one. If Fisk does it, though, Fisk specifically, for some reason, feels like the one that if he does it, we can say, like, it's like he did it in his rookie year and Donald didn't score once. Come on, man. Like, Fisk feels like that one. But if Verse can do it, like, obviously those guys are, I mean, edge rusher is kind of different ball game a little bit. But I would say Jared Verse, man. I feel good about Jared Verse being able to pull that off. Being able to just, like, get around the edge, come in and just, like, lay one in, pull him to the ground, not fall down, balls rolling, pick it up, score, and you got, like, BY and Kobe giving you a block or something like that. And then whatever Jared Verse would do for a touchdown celebration, man, I would want to see that. That sounds awesome. I feel like he would do something crazy, man. Probably a fine or something with whatever he does or says to somebody after scoring a touchdown, man. That dude's going to get fined, right? Do we agree on that? He's going to get some fines on some stuff he says throughout his career. Like I feel like we just have to know and accept that, like, it's possible that at any moment, that Jared Verse is going to get fined or something for something he's saying to some player. Into whatever. He's got to do it. He's just doing it right away, man. Right away. Like, first few plays against the Bills, he's already chirping, man. It was absolutely awesome to see. Absolutely awesome to see. Thank you for your fan quesos. We got a big old football game. Thursday night football. San Francisco 49ers hosting the Los Angeles Rams. Amazon Prime is where you'll catch the action for yourself. So, yeah, make sure you make your Rams pick 'em. You might be able to score free Rams tickets like I did. So make sure you hop on that. Drop your pants picks below. Yeah, go enjoy this friggin' game, dude. Rams trying to make a push for the playoffs. Need to beat the 49ers this week to be able to get closer to that, as currently still sitting on the outside looking in. 49ers, Rams, Niners week. Absolutely love to see it. Hoping for a big old Rams dub. I'm just thinking like 56-3. Just toss that out there. That is going to do it for me. Make sure you follow on socials at Ram Showcase, at Sheriff Joe Bags, ramshowcase.com. That is it for me. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. This has been Ram Showcase on Sports War Radio and the Fan-Sided Network. For those of you who aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you who are Rams fans, thank you so much for watching, and go Rams.